on Tech News Today. I'm whispering because I'm at SFO, and all these people are about to board their flight to Los Angeles, and they're trying to concentrate on their email. But coming up, we'll tell you what Tim Cook is up to at Sun Valley. We'll tell you why Viacom is punishing the entire internet for DirecTV sins. And are PC sales bad or just sad? All that and more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Thursday, July 12, 2012. Happy birthday to my wife. Tech News Today is brought to you by Ford, featuring the My Ford mobile smartphone app for electric vehicles. The My Ford mobile app makes the electric driving experience fun and efficient. Learn more about Ford electric vehicle technologies at Ford.com/technology. And by Gazelle, the easy way to sell your iPhone, iPad, iPod, or Android smartphones from your home or office so you can get the latest versions. Get a risk-free quote that's good for 30 days at Gazelle.com. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
And I'm Jason Howell.
And joining us will be Ewen, Rankin, editor of the British Tech Network. If you wonder why I'm talking softly, it's because I'm at the airport trying to not call too much attention to myself on my way to Comic-Con in a couple of hours. But let's start with the top 10 news stories of the day in the news feeds. Time to change another hacked service's password. Ars Technica reports a hacking collective known as D33DS Company posted login credentials for more than 453,000 Yahoo user accounts. The group said it used a union-based SQL injection attack in order to give Yahoo a wake-up call on security. Yahoo apologized and confirmed the data came from an older file from the Yahoo contributor network. Less than 5% of the passwords were active, and Yahoo is working on a fix.
Aereo, that's the company that wants to sell you access to over-the-air broadcast delivered on the internet, has won a victory in court. The judge denied the request of several television networks that Aereo cease offering their service during the forthcoming trial. U.S. District Court Allison J. Nathan ruled that the networks and television stations suing Aereo were unlikely to win.
So you think Angry Birds is the only thing Rovio can come up with,
Yes.
huh? No, it's not true. Rovio just launched its amazing Alex franchise, which strangely is not about Alex Trebek like I thought. In this game, you arrange objects to create a chain reaction in a puzzle. However, if you really, really wanted more Angry Birds, you'll be glad to know that Samsung announced a new Angry Birds app for some of its smart TVs that will be able to use voice and gesture commands. It's due out later this month.
The post-PC era rages on as PC shipments remain flat in the last quarter. Both Gartner and IDC estimate that shipments of traditional computers dropped by 1/10 of a point in the second quarter of 2012. HP still leads the pack, though its market share declined 12%. Lenovo bucked the trend, growing 14% to get second place. Dell fell and Acer grew, and they both fought for third and fourth spots in different order, depending on the survey. Asus grew 38% to around top 5.
Facebook Groups wants everybody to know everyone else's every move, or at least what they've seen. Whenever somebody publishes an update now in Groups, as soon as at least one person sees it, a check mark and the count of the total number of impressions will be displayed. Anybody with permission to see the post can then hover on the count, see a drop-down list of the names of everybody who's seen it. Facebook will note seen by everybody in the case that everyone has seen it.
You know what's not seen by everybody? Some
What?
Viacom programming online. Viacom has pulled full-length episodes from some of its websites, including Comedy Central and Nickelodeon. Some programs like The Daily Show, which isn't available on its own site, is still available on Hulu. By the way, if you visit The Daily Show's site, you'll be greeted with a pop-over video ad saying that DirecTV has dropped 26 channels. So
Nice battle tactic. The court orders being pursued to block the Pirate
Bay.
Dutch internet provider Access for All says that after they blocked the Pirate Bay, BitTorrent traffic went up instead of down. Today, two other major ISPs in the Netherlands, KPN and UPC, have made statements indicating their blocks of the Pirate Bay had little effect on overall BitTorrent traffic.
Hey, how about instead of a rumor of an Amazon phone, we give you a fact that can then fuel rumpus about an Amazon phone? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Sound good? Robert Williams, Microsoft's former senior director of Windows Phone business development, has joined Amazon this month as Amazon's App Store director, according to his LinkedIn profile. Also, a tweet spotted by Win Gadget News indicates he still uses a Windows Phone. Russia's parliament has passed a bill that will set up a federal agency charged with blacklisting and shutting down any website deemed illegal. The bill targets any sites hosting child pornography, images of sexually abused children, or materials that would encourage minors to use drugs or commit suicide. A provision banning a vaguely defined harmful information was not included in the final bill. The bill must now pass through the Federation Council of Russia before heading to President Putin's desk.
British mobile telecom O2 was down for the count yesterday, as many of its users could not access the O2 network to send texts, use data, or even make something called phone calls. Today, calling is restored, but 3G is still down. The company says the network should be back up and running by the afternoon. The outage has some people concerned that O2 may not be able to handle increased demand during the Olympics.
All right, before we get to some of the discussion stories, we try to get Tom back on the line. Let's take a moment to thank Ford for sponsoring this episode of Tech News Today. We talk about Ford a lot, and that's because they're a very technologically savvy company, and they really want to bring their technology into as many cars as possible. My Ford Mobile, the smartphone app for electric vehicles, is one of those such technological advances. With this app, you can take advantage of the charging feature. It's powered by Microsoft. Based on your local utilities participation, it'll let customers take advantage of off-peak, reduced rates from their utility, stuff that really matters, without a complicated setup process. It's really easy to use. Anybody who can use an app can use this. You can use go times, precondition your vehicle's temperature before you even get in the car, before you even go anywhere. You can say, I want it to be 71 degrees, darn it, and it will be. You can also use it to conserve battery energy. You've got monitor charging. You can get alerts. You can find charging stations before you're even there. If you're in an unfamiliar territory, plan out your drive. All sorts of good stuff will come to you through My Ford, the mobile smartphone app. You can also monitor how far you drive and how much CO2 you save. So if you're one of those people who really likes stats and really cares about how much you are using and CO2, you can certainly take advantage of Ford in this way. The My Ford mobile app makes electric driving fun, and it makes it efficient. In the 2012 Ford Focus Electric, and it's available for purchase now. If you want to know more about My Ford mobile smartphone app and all the other things that Ford is putting into their models this year and next, please go to ford.com/technology. Got a lot of really good information for you there. And we thank Ford again for sponsoring this episode of Tech News Today.
SFO Wireless wanted me to watch another ad. So they kicked me off. They only let you on for a half hour.
You missed ours, and you saw one of theirs, so.
I expect this to happen again in 30 minutes. Let's bring in our guest here, Ewen, Rankin, editor of the British Tech Network, who's been very nice to have me on his shows many times, and glad that we now have a time that works for you, man.
I stay up late. I could have come on the other one, but no, this is very nice. This is just after dinner and not too late, not so early that I can't have a beer as well. So.
Excellent. Well, let's start off with these crazy Viacom stories. We heard in the news fuse about Viacom polling their shows from the internet to punish DirecTV users. We've also heard about Dish and AMC's problems. We heard about Barry Diller winning his attempt to bring you television on the internet. And as you found, starting tomorrow, Dish subscribers can register for access to the Breaking Bad premiere at amctv.com. That's the opposite strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, AMC, they put up a note saying if you go to amctv.com/breakingbad, the number 4 Dish, Breaking Bad for Dish, you can actually, if you're a Dish subscriber, you'll be able to watch the Breaking Bad premiere, which I believe is this Sunday. And when AMC is right now is off of Dish due to a contract dispute, it's a good PR move for at least AMC. But it seems like it's getting harder and harder to watch content on the big subscribers. And then you have Aereo having a victory with its lack of injunction. Now, during Aereo's case, they're being sued by a lot of these the networks, right? Because they're rebroadcasting a television, at least that's what the networks are saying, without a license. And Aereo right now can continue to do business while the case is going on. It's not like Aereo is completely free and clear just yet. But what the networks are trying to do was stop Aereo from being able to do its service while the case was going on. And Aereo will be able to continue to function.
So the key question here is, assuming companies know they can't preserve their old business model, what does the industry hope to get as an outcome?
So I think
what do you
I think the industry is, I mean, they obviously want the most money for whatever they can get. If it turns out that selling directly to consumers makes that sense, that's what they'll do. But I mean, the thing is, the old models are so ingrained and so profitable. That basically is what bundling all these channels. That's what's going on with Viacom right now. That's why you see 26 channels are missing instead of like 1 or 2. It's because you're stuck buying all of Viacom's properties. And if they can make more money selling directly, it could be different.
I mean, I think this whole Viacom DirecTV situation really puts into focus the fact that, yes, we are talking about a lot of money, but a model that is not working well. This is not a model that's working well. We've got a point where Viacom pulled content off of their own website, which is something that we talked about yesterday. Tom even said, yeah, that's sometimes how I just watch Comedy Central shows, so it's not the biggest deal to me if it wasn't available as a channel. Viacom is saying, we're going to screw our own customers in the hopes that they will get more angry at DirecTV than they are at us. And that's a gamble.
And even stranger is that when you look at the video, try to watch something like The Daily Show, the same color scheme that's in the giant ads all over the site that says, DirecTV is taking away your channels. It's the same color scheme for this video is temporarily unavailable. It doesn't say directly that it's our issue with DirecTV. It looks that way as a reaction. And it's not discriminating against who's your carrier either. It doesn't matter who your ISP is or your cable company. It doesn't matter. Nobody can get to these files, I mean, these streaming video files, unless you're, I guess, on Hulu or some other means to get it.
Ewan, this must just look like nonsense to you coming from the UK.
It kind of is because, I mean, we don't have a similar kind of problem over here. Generally speaking, what you'll find is that content is sold by season or by block to providers, and then when they've shown it, that's the end of it. And to have a contract negotiation going on almost in public by this is something that I would hope would never happen over here. I mean, it's kind of like the landlord of the theatre having an argument with the guy that's putting the play on the stage before he lets anyone watch it. It's not something that I think does anyone any good either. That's the real part of it is, your contract negotiations, you get them done before it comes to airtime. And if you're renegotiating, you renegotiate a long, long time before that's due to hit. Otherwise, all you do is upset consumers. And I don't think consumers really want to identify who's the one that's pissing them off. They just want their content, and they'll just see both equally badly.
AMC has got the right idea, which is let's get the eyeballs, right? If we can't get them through Dish, we'll get them directly on our site. I think that's very smart. And Viacom continues a pattern of sort of living in the past, don't you think?
I think the whole point of whatever you're doing is, as you said there, is getting the eyes on, getting people to see it, argue about the money later on, or argue about the money well in advance. There's no winners in this. There's only losers, and the losers always are the consumer when the two large companies start to come together. And it happens across all the fields of technology, not just content provision on TV.
It's also really helpful when you have something like Breaking Bad, which is a very popular show and about to start its final season, although it's in 2 parts. That's the sort of...
got Teen Wolf.
Right. Tom, good point. I mean, pretty much the same thing. But I almost think in a way it's more effective when you've got that. Right now it's Breaking Bad, but if it was a few months ago, it would be Mad Men. Mm-hmm. AMC has got a few really key, programming titles that help rally people behind them.
I mean, we get a lot of stuff that's a long, long way behind you, and the real issue that you have with this is when it blocks off on the legitimate channels, it opens up all the illegitimate channels to provision.
All right, let's move on to the new PC sales. We heard the numbers earlier in the news views. Iyaz, is this just more of the same? It's pretty flat. It's not really totally declining.
Yeah, it's been a bunch of quarters where there's not a whole lot of growth in the PC market, at least in the U.S. Shipments are down. It's only down a tenth of a point from quarter to quarter. And now in this quarter, we've had Ivy Bridge come out. We've had Intel pushing Ultrabooks to be cheaper and thinner and different specs. What's going on here? Why can't PC sales move forward? Is it because people are waiting for Windows 8, do you think? Or is this because are we actually in that post-PC era that is so bandied about?
Well, it's starting, right? I mean, the post-PC era is something that was announced somewhat recently. This is a term that we go, well...
Make it sound like there was a press conference. Post-PC era.
Post-PC era has begun. We're at war. But it's something where we all go, okay, well, yeah, I guess that's the inevitable decline of PCs. But I do think that people just keep buying tablets, keep finding ways to not need a new Ultrabook or netbook at all, or even desktop computer, certainly not desktop computer. And so we're moving in the same direction we've been moving in for a while. I'm not sure that there's any golden formula that's going to get those netbooks back in the black.
Ultrabooks. They're Ultrabooks, not netbooks. Those are gone.
Ultrabooks, I'm sorry.
Those are absolutely gone. They're totally different and underpowered. These are Ultrabooks, and they use less power.
Oh, no, I looked on Best Buy yesterday. You can buy netbooks still.
Well, yeah, but that's not what Intel's pushing. Shh, don't exist.
I guess I still, the word Ultrabook still bothers me, so I think of it as Netbooks Plus.
Ewen, what do you think? We saw some really cool designs at Computex. They're like dual-screen laptops, and they're trying to put together tablets and laptops, or laptops to become tablets, and all kinds of ridiculous form factors. Do you think that kind of thing will reinvigorate the PC market, like worldwide, or is that just grasping at straws?
I think the Windows market is quite buoyant in terms of the cosmetics of it. They look an awful lot better than they used to. There's a lot of models out there that have got an Apple-esque kind of look. They've gone for the brushed steel, the brushed aluminium, those kind of things. I think that the only thing I would say here is that you tend to find that the PC market goes in waves, and it's to do with the technology and then the tasking of that technology by the programs that are out there. And I don't think there's a lot of people producing a lot of stuff that really is tasking PCs. You know, a year-old gaming PC is running most of the games pretty adequately at the moment. So there's a drop in the need to upgrade, and I think there's also the recession there, and it's kind of like a double wave that's taking both down. I'd be worried if I was HP, because I don't know that they've actually got a clue at all at the moment as to what's wrong and where they need to go. Lenovo's always been very solid in the business market, and the others are coming up to meet them. Dell, I don't know if they know either anymore what they're going to do, but I just see it as a double wave going down. I think there's people still out there going to buy computers, and I don't see that there's going to be a long-term issue as long as people start seeing a pull out of recession, which should be coming in the next 12 months, you know.
The recession could
I
stop
think cloud services is part of this too, Iyaz. I mean, I think the fact that we can get our email and our documents and a lot of things all over the web browser means we're not as demanding, and that doesn't drive an upgrade cycle as much.
I know when I review any laptop for before you buy, I think, what do people use these things for anymore? I mean, usually just web browsing, and many of them are very adequate at that because they're running, I mean, really powerful CPUs, and the real bottleneck is like your modem and your ISP. That's the real issue nowadays. I mean, you're like, is Flash going to tax my system? That's the only real concern most people have for these things. So I think, Tom, you're dead on. Like the fact that people are basically going, this is a cloud computer. I just want to use it as a browser. If anything, it should mean that Chromebooks should take off. But the thing is, it's basically, there's a browser, that's your operating system, and people can use low-powered machines like a tablet or a phone even to do a lot of those functions.
So is that you moving to a Chromebook then, Iyaz?
No, I'm not moving to a Chromebook anytime soon. I'm sorry. I will run Chrome in full screen. It's kind of the same.
I was thinking of taking my old ThinkPad and just putting like Mint OS, the Linux Mint on it or something like that, and using that portable because it's lighter, even though the specs are older, and I can just do so much in the cloud now. Well, let's move on. Sarah's got a story you might be interested in here about the O2 outage.
Yeah, so British mobile operator O2, which is actually owned by Spain's Telefonica, had a big outage yesterday. It has since been settled, but it took about 24 hours from the time that it was first discovered. Hundreds of thousands of O2 customers couldn't make or receive calls, couldn't send text, and couldn't use data. That would be the thing that would tick me off the most. As of this morning in the UK, the 2G portion had been fixed, but the 3G portion, meaning, of course, you know, text, data, that sort of thing, that's very important, took a little bit longer. Apparently, it was a fault with one of the network systems. A spokesman for the company said, some mobile numbers aren't registering correctly on our network. They've figured it out. But O2 has 23 million users in Britain. Of course, as Ewen is acutely aware, London specifically is about to get an influx of folks for the Olympics. Already, some networks that are strained, a lot of users there, a lot of users going to be coming in, actually having just been to London and saying, well, my phone doesn't work, and I don't want to buy one of those expensive plans with Verizon because I'm done with that crap. What are my options here? I went into a few different stores because it's like, I don't want voice, and I don't care about texting, but I do want data. And I'll pay sort of a pretty penny for it because anything's going to be less than what I would have to pay Verizon to get some roaming plan. And I actually got a really great SIM card. I think I had told you guys when I was in London. That was £15 for 30 days of unlimited data. Great deal. I wonder what those kinds of deals are going to be like during the Olympics. Ewen, what do you think?
During the Olympics, you've got a fantastic spread of data across the whole of London. I mean, you can't go anywhere in London, as you'll be aware, having been there recently, that without getting some kind of Wi-Fi network pop up, the open cloud stuff, that kind of thing. The Tube has just got an upgrade from Virgin Media. Now, the subway stations are getting 26 megabits a second down and 28 megabits a second up on speed tests. So there's an awful lot of data out there to be had, and it's all free of charge in a lot of cases. And if you do find yourself out in the wild, there's little cards you can buy, pay-as-you-go cards, which are very, very cheap. We're a lot cheaper over here for data than you are in the States. I mean, these kind of things are dropping out regularly. Every one of the cell phone providers here has a drama every 6 months, something like that. I wouldn't be worried too much about this for the Olympics. O2 have got a relatively solid network. Whether it performs exactly how you want day in, day out is a different question. But there's a lot of other provision for data out there. And also, as well, don't forget the Olympic rules are saying that you're not allowed to take a picture and then upload it from your phone immediately anyway.
And the latest news says that O2's mobile network is fully restored, so that's back, and that should be settling to some right now. But like Ewan was saying, I was thinking the same thing. The Olympics are probably just like thrilled. The committees are like, yeah, they can't get anything up online anyway, so you'll have to use our stream, or you have to be wired into a network. I mean,
it's a plot.
It's all a conspiracy. Well, it's Thursday. So.
I mean, I understand that these networks go down every so often, and also that, data seems to be, there's some really good plans out there, especially for temporary data in the UK. I just wonder how many actual customers, I mean, again, 23 million users in Britain that use the O2 network, that need that network to be up. And if you've got several other million people coming in and clogging up these networks further, is that going to be a problem during the Olympics for people who obviously want to be uploading pictures and public sort of stuff, I think, more than they want to be making phone calls from, the Olympic stadiums?
That 23 million is kind of like 45% of every man, woman and child in the UK. So I kind of think there's a few duplicates there that won't matter so much. And I think it's just an annoyance more than actually being a tragedy of any description. And there's a lot of people are saying that there's as many people leaving London as there are coming in for the Olympics.
That's true.
They're not expecting any flows on Tubeway and that kind of stuff to rise.
Everybody's leaving. Everybody's going up country to get away from it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Damn foreigners.
Take a quick break and thank our sponsor, Gazelle. I got a bag full of gadgets with me here at the airport right now, and they're going to be obsolete eventually. We're going to need a place to sell them. If you want to get some cash for your iPad, your iPhone, go to Gazelle.com. Sarah, how does it work? Tell us how it works.
Okay, so Tom, you've got a bag full of stuff that they might be worth something, and you want a new phone pretty soon. You can sell your used iPhone or iPad, any sort of Android tablet, even smartphone, Mac, to Gazelle. Get some cash, because you're going to need that cash when you want your new gadget. Here's how it works. If you go to Gazelle.com, you can get a risk-free quote, meaning they won't hold you to this quote. It just gives you an idea of what your stuff is worth, and that quote is good for 30 days. You want to do it sooner than later because, as you know, a gadget is most valuable now and might be less valuable in a month because there's new gadgets out all the time. Gazelle is really easy. Gazelle.com to see what your gadget is worth. You just type in the model, right? Jason's looking at Apple laptops right now. You get an offer. You give them a little bit of information about the MacBook Air that you might have. It's a 13-inch. Maybe there's a couple of scuffs, but it works really well. Here's the model number. Here's how much RAM is inside, that sort of thing. Then you mail your gadget to Gazelle for free, by the way. They take care of the shipping, which is really nice. And then you get paid. You get paid fast by check, by PayPal, or you can even choose Amazon gift card and get 5% more. It's a great way to get cash toward devices that you're not using so that you can buy the gadgets that you really want. Again, that's Gazelle, Gazelle.com. And we thank Gazelle for sponsoring this episode of Tech News Today.
I got all this stuff here, so I'm just going to go.
Don't keep carting it around. Get money for it. Cold hard cash, Tom.
I'm keeping this, though. I'm keeping the Howell microphone. Not getting rid of that thing.
Smart.
Yeah. I don't want to leave that on the ground either here in the airport.
Hey, so what do you guys think about Facebook groups now making it very clear to me if Tom and Iyaz have seen my latest update?
I hate this idea.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. So we talked about it very briefly in the beginning of the show, and a few people in the chat room saying, "Wait, what is happening in Facebook groups?" So somewhat recently in Facebook chat. If Iyaz and I are chatting back and forth, which is within the Facebook experience, and we're in the little chat window, and I type something and send it to Iyaz, I can see when he has seen that message, even if he hasn't responded back. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, if we're talking about something that's work-related where time is of the essence, that's very helpful. When you're talking to a friend or something about information that could be perceived a variety of different ways, hey, sometimes it's a little bit weird if you know that someone has seen your very important question about whether or not they love you or something, and they haven't said anything back. So this is the same functionality that's now coming to Facebook groups. That's not a story about me, by the way. Facebook groups, which is more of a collaborative tool, it can either be set up for work purposes, friend purposes, your book club, your family, all that sort of stuff. If I now send out a note which can contain, maybe an image or an update or something that people need to respond to me about the barbecue, I can now see who's seen it, even if no one has said anything back. Now, maybe if you post an update like, hey, I just want everyone to know that the meeting's starting at 9 instead of 10, and you see that people have seen it, maybe you don't need 10 likes or, okay, be there type of a thing. So I can see this working out well. Some of the fear, of course, TechCrunch article had a nice write-up about this, is this functionality going to become more public? Because as of now, groups are still just anyone who's invited to the group. It's not a public forum at all. So you don't really have that worry that your information, what you're actually doing silently is being recorded and anyone in the public is going to know. What if I saw Iyaz's latest post because it showed up in my news feed, that's information that Iyaz could have about me, even if I haven't said anything? That's a little bit scarier. Of course,
Path does this, right? How do we deal with it with Path?
Well, in a way, I think it's a little weird with Path. I've got a few friends on Path who never ever like or comment on anything I do, but they certainly see everything that I do. And I think, no, do they just not like my life? Why are we even friends? And I think, well, I'm really overthinking this, but Path is different because, of course, it's 150 people. So you have to be pretty selective about who is seeing your stuff. Facebook is much less so, at least for me. I don't know about you guys, but my news feed is just full of updates from people that I know for a variety of reasons, but are definitely not in my inner circle. Ewen, does this bother you, the way that Facebook is going?
Oh, that's a second question, perhaps. But I mean, I think the thing with this is I'm struggling to see the positive in it. I don't understand how me knowing who doesn't want to come to my party, doesn't want to be at anything that I'm at, and thinks my armpit smell, is going to get from doing this. I mean, it's a way of bullying potentially as well for the future. You get a group that's to do with a high school or something like that, and everyone says, "Oh, go and look, make sure you see so and so's party, but don't respond. Nobody respond," and there isn't a positive element to it. I don't want to know who doesn't want to know me.
I think Facebook's been riding that creepy line a little bit. I mean, when it comes to, when groups are supposed to be smaller, maybe that's also Facebook trying to explain to people, hey, listen, groups are not meant for large groups of people. Maybe it's meant for your close friends or particular people that you wouldn't mind. One of the things with Path, when people check, they visited your Path, you're like, why? Oh, just changed my cover. That's fine. But you're not. If you're creeped out by people doing that, then maybe you shouldn't be friends with them, or maybe you shouldn't put them in your groups. Right. Maybe that's what Facebook's trying to direct a little bit. Because I know when I use groups, I use them very closely. I don't just go, everybody's invited to this. Maybe they're trying to explain, this is what we're using this for. I know for the longest time, Facebook has not said, like, who's viewed your profile or who has unfriended you.
And they never will.
Right. And
because people will stop using Facebook.
Right. And I think that's one of the reasons they won't necessarily continue to make so much information public. This is a small way to go, yeah, you saw something. You don't have to like it. Because that's another weird thing with the verbiage when it comes to, oh, I just broke my leg. And someone writes like. And they meant because they saw it, but they didn't want to. They wanted to make sure you knew that you saw it.
I love that you broke your leg.
Right. It's a weird verb for that. And I know they're changing that up a little, but there's some awkward usages of Facebook with the words. So maybe just seeing this isn't so bad.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Ewen.
Sorry, sir. I was going to say, I think Facebook's at a kind of an evolutionary crossroads because it's 8 years old now. So some of the original customers, in inverted commas, are grown up. They've got their own kids. They've got their own families. It's got the broadest spectrum of consumer that it could possibly have from 10-year-olds realistically through to 80-year-olds. And now it's also got a financial market saying, show me the money. And they're having to come out with things that are cosmetic or are lack substance in order to show that they're doing something, moving forward, keeping the share price moving. And I'm not sure they're totally comfortable with that, because it started off as something that was social, and people don't take their group of friends and float them on the stock market.
Well, most people don't.
I think that the worry is that this will somehow come to our news feeds, and I will know every time Iyaz looks at certain pictures that are on my profile. I'm sorry I keep using you as an example.
Well, I am constantly stalking you.
I know that you're not creepy, so it's
no,
better
I am
than
very creepy. It's very
actually
true.
using Tom as an example, because that would be so much creepier. But I don't really think that this is not. Yeah, right. Got it. Sorry, Tom. This is the sort of thing I think Facebook wants to make groups more of a utility for people who are getting stuff done and want to give us more of a reason to use Facebook because it's more convenient, and we can see that sort of checkmark box of who saw the latest update that I gave, more than it's creepy, got to everyone shut down your Facebook profiles because our privacy is over.
Yeah, it's good for groups. Let's hope it stays there.
Yeah.
For a while, we've talked about how Amazon has changed their mind about paying sales tax. They've started to compromise. They want to get a federal sales tax plan in place, and we figured, well, that was it. That's why they're doing this. They're trying to figure out how to compromise with the federal government. But Financial Times story and a follow-up story from Slate's Farhad Manju say there may be something else going on here. Amazon is beginning to collect sales tax from residents in California, Nevada, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, and on July 1st, it began collecting taxes from Texas. It's also collecting taxes already in several other states, and reports indicate Amazon wants to offer same-day delivery in some areas, and at least next-day delivery as a standard across the United States. To do that, they have to be able to open distribution centers near the big cities, and to have those distribution centers, they have to agree to pay taxes. So it seems like because they're able to get some compromises out of the states, they're changing their mind and saying, yeah, okay, we will pay sales tax, and then we're going to open some distribution centers where we can compete directly with the retailers. The retailers are the ones been saying Amazon needs to pay sales tax. How do they get away with selling things without sales tax? Well, somebody comes into my store, they have to pay sales tax. They were hoping, well, if people have to pay the same price, they would rather come get it more conveniently nearby. Now Amazon is saying we're going to make it even more convenient. We'll deliver it to you. Shadesofcosmo.com, circa 1999. Earlier this year, Amazon purchased Kiva Systems, a company that makes picking robots that improve shipping times while reducing errors. And don't forget that they are rolling out those lockers that go to your local convenience store or drugstore that allow you to have something shipped there and pick it up on your way home. Ewen, what do you think about this idea of Amazon attempting same-day delivery?
It's a great thing. I mean, we don't have anything like that here. If you want a same-day courier from Birmingham to London, which is 100 miles, it's an absolute fortune. So, I mean, if they started tying this in with Prime, and, you could order, you get a headache and you can order some drugs or Advil or something within a couple of minutes, then that'd be great. But the thing that bothered me about the FT story, and I don't know if I just read it wrong, but I got the impression that the lady that complained about not paying sales tax, the state then said, yes, you have to pay sales tax. But there was an element of it that made me think, well, Amazon are kind of saying, yeah, all right, we will, but in return, we need to do these things. And in return, we'll be offering jobs. And in return, we'll be getting subsidy, perhaps. If that ever came to pass, then I think there's a real problem with that. It's if you've got a requirement to pay sales tax, you can't be bartering that off against inducements of improving customer services and providing jobs. Not that I know that they are.
I'm just looking at Amazon's move here. I'm just thinking it looks like the only way they think they can continue to grow. I mean, because it used to be Amazon would be, okay, you'd get books, and then you'd get pretty much anything you could possibly ever imagine. Then it could show up in 2 days with this one-time fee. If they want to continue to grow, it looks like they're going to play ball. They're going to say, look, we're going to have presence in states. We want to make sure we can hit these markets really fast. This is the way we're going to succeed. And if they are actually going to be on board with all of this, I mean, that's pretty scary for just like retailers in general. Like, why would you go out? Well, this will be me. Why would you go outside while I'm stalking Sarah on Facebook? I could go on Amazon on my other tab, and I can just order something the same day.
The same day thing it's so much different than even next day. For someone like me, because I'm such an impulse buyer, that next day is extremely convenient. But let's say it's Friday. I'm here at the office. I always get Amazon stuff delivered here because I'm never home during the day. Many of you know how that feels. And it's like, if it's Friday and I want something right now, well, I'm not, even going to go through the effort because then it's going to come on Saturday and I'm not going to be here. And it's like kind of keeps me from some of my impulse buys. But if Amazon is giving me something same day, then that's that one more reason that I'm not going to go to the friendly drugstore to pick up the stuff that Amazon has on offer, but that I'll just get on my way home because I want it before I go to bed tonight, that sort of thing. So for me, it makes a really big difference. Totally more convenient, but at the same time, extremely scary for brick and mortar retailers.
Even with 2-day delivery, I am finding myself buying things on Amazon and online more and more often because I just don't want to deal with the parking lot and having to go in and look around and find it. And half the time, the stores don't have the thing I'm looking for. I can get exactly what I want when I order it online. If they turn same-day delivery on, man, I am there. I will never leave the house again, except obviously to come to work or the airport. Let's finish up with what Tim Cook is up to in Sun Valley. We talked a little bit about this with Lloyd Case yesterday, but Iyaz, tell us what Sun Valley is and why I care that Tim Cook is there.
There's a conference held by Allen & Company in Sun Valley, Idaho. I wasn't aware of this, so I had to look up what is the conference. It's like a summer retreat for media and tech executives. So, like, who's there right now? There's Disney. There's Time Warner. DirecTV's there. Mark Zuckerberg's hanging around there. And Tim Cook, Apple CEO. Now, Apple, not exactly a fixture there. Steve Jobs wasn't going to this event very often. But as Cook was walking by and they took pictures of him, he's wearing a button-down shirt and jeans because that was very important for the article and a lot of these articles. He was asked a couple of questions as he scurried by. Was he there to strike entertainment deals? Cook said, "We're talking to a lot of people here." When he was asked if those discussions were related to that mythical Apple TV, the one that actually is a television, he responded, "I can't tell you that."
Wow, what an interview. What a scoop.
I know, but
What's that? That's not even an interview. That's Tim Cook saying, "Get out of my face. I'm not telling you anything."
Well, compared to past Apple CEOs, that's pretty good. I mean, he didn't flip anybody off. He didn't push them aside. He didn't have them run over or have their family killed. But DealBook...
As compared to former Apple CEOs?
I'm not... Possibly.
Oh, steady.
DealBook, though, says that Cook has signed... DealBook from New York Times has actually said that Cook has lined up several one-on-one meetings with media execs. And Time Warner CEO, this guy actually said something of substance. He says that he expects to talk to Cook about some sort of Apple TV partnership that he envisioned being similar to the alliance Apple struck with AT&T to launch the iPhone. Quote, "It will probably be a lot more painless than everyone thinks," he said. So Time Warner content, Time Warner CEO talking about Tim Cook's meeting, that seems much more substantive than "I can't say anything yet."
Well, saying it's probably not as complicated as you think makes me wonder, well, have we sort of created this whole, gosh, it must be really complicated behind the scenes because we all want this Apple TV so bad and it's not going to be out until 2013 if it even exists at all. So that must be the reason Apple's just got their hands tied and they're trying. Maybe that's not the case at all.
You should be nicer to Gil Amelio, Iyaz. I think that's an unfair characterization of him.
Gil was a heck of a guy. I just don't want to say anything negative about him.
We should ask the guy, the host of British Tech Mac. Ewen, what do you think Tim Cook's up to there?
I think, if you look at the hardware element, I think Apple makes a lot of hardware and then probably cans it. There's been an awful lot of prototype stuff come out on eBay and things like that. So I think the 7-inch tablet, I think they've already made it. I think they're ready to go with it if they want to go with it. And they'll decide when the market's right and then they'll push it out. With the TV, I'm sure they've made a TV or they've made an interface that looks exactly like an iMac or something like that with a TV in it. But the contact that we have within Apple, the word that I've got from them is that there is a pass scheme which is going to be more or sooner than anything else to do with hardware. So Apple's looking at creating a pass process with media providers as to what they're going to buy, Series Pass, Game Pass, that kind of stuff. And the pass system for content provision through Apple TV, as it currently stands, is I think what they're probably ironing out at the moment.
Yeah, now Time Warner CEO also said that he said it might be painless, but he also said that the reason why is because Apple would have to be willing to pay as much as affiliate fees. So it's really easy. As long as Apple acts like a cable company.
This is not complicated.
Not at
it's
all.
just very expensive.
You pay us a lot of money.
Apple's going to take 30% of Time Warner's revenue?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't actually even put the Allen & Company conference retreat, whatever you want to call it, on the calendar because I thought, well, I don't know how relevant it is to Tech News Today specifically. Turns out there are a lot of folks there. I love the fact that retreats become this place where a lot of news comes out, even though there's not really news. It's just another place to start some speculation on
I don't know.
what
jeans and a
everybody's
button-up.
doing out
I didn't know
there.
Idaho was such a hotbed of excitement.
Apparently
I
so.
did.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah, Idaho's
Jason
pretty
Howell,
hot.
we're going to have to start listening to you.
You're on
I've
the
been
country.
saying
told us.
Idaho's a hotbed for technology for a long, long time.
That's
you guys
right.
just haven't listened to me.
Listen to the son of Idaho. All right, before SFO kicks me off and makes me watch another ad, let's move on to the randomizer.
Randomizer.
Turns out Sun
Hey,
Valley.
jeans and a button-up aren't the only thing, right? What's going on at Sun Valley?
Sun Valley is the hotbed of technology, and this is again in Idaho. There's a robot called Skippy the Robot that will let you skip a real stone across a real Sun Valley lake without leaving your browser.
I love this.
So if-
we all remember skipping stones as kids. It's hard.
You know, friends of mine in college had to explain that to me because growing up in Queens, it wasn't something you did.
Oh, right.
But if-
Different parts of the world.
Yeah, I had to learn to do this, and if a robot can do it, I mean, this is great. Like you want to take a break from work, you know, I want to go out with, again, as I'm stalking and getting all kinds of things from Amazon, I can have a robot skip a stone, so I can relax in another tab.
Oh, it does a good job
Now,
too.
single-sided in chat is saying it's hard. Probably hasn't seen me try to skip a stone. Some of us are better than others. But if you watch Skippy the Robot, I mean, Skippy the Robot is an excellent stone skipper. I mean, better than a human. That's kind of the fun of it, right?
He's getting more than one skip or two skips. You're seeing that thing move pretty far. So I mean, it's not like the first time I'm doing is like plunk. So it's not super.
Well, that's
easy.
not actually skipping. That's just throwing a stone into some water.
And then the second was a skip. He gets a lot of skips per throw, I guess. So Skippy the Robot, very functional. Again, Idaho, the place to go for technology.
Oh, there he is. Can I do something? Oh, I see.
There's Tim Cook walking by on the other opposite shore.
There's a whole queue of people down the bottom. You can't see it. There's a queue of people in line to skip stones. This is great.
Now
There's
skipping.
nothing new.
All right, everyone in chat who's telling us that you can get 9 to 10 skips, I want you to record a video of that and send it to Tech News Today at twit.tv.
Well, actually, upload it to YouTube and send us the link.
So that I can eat
there we
my
go.
words.
Alternatively, get a life.
That actually looks like a pretty fun life.
That's a vacation.
Sitting out there, Sun Valley Lake.
That
It's
robot's
pretty nice there.
just chilling out.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree.
Shall we
All
move
right.
on to the calendar?
Let's do.
Chrome OS version 20 has hit the stable release channel and bringing Google Drive and Aura UI for C48s along. All right. Today is also marking 50 years since the first live television satellite broadcast. 50 big ones. That's, of course, since satellite broadcast, not 50 years since television. Tomorrow, there will be a very special Reddit Ask Me Anything at 3:30 Pacific time, where you will be able to ask Iyaz Akhtar
Who is that?
anything. This will also be live streamed at live.twit.tv. It's a wonderful network. You should really tune in.
Yes.
Iyaz, tell me more
I
about
wanna do
this.
that too.
Ask Me Anything
Well,
chat.
there's a Reddit link. You can get that, or you can find it on Reddit. We have that new show called Know How. It's on at 3 o'clock today on Thursday. But if you want to ask me anything about anything, it doesn't even have to be about TWiT. It could be about what kind of shoes I wear. They're Timberlands. But you can ask me anything on Reddit. You can post questions there.
Spoiler.
How it was growing up without lakes.
Yeah, I mean that you could ask that, and I could give you a long answer. And the other thing is, I'll be writing the answers up on Reddit there. And you'll be able to hear this if you're watching it live on TWiT, live.twit.tv.
That's awesome. Thanks for putting it all out there. This weekend is Photo Hack Day 3. That's happening in San Francisco. If you want more information, photohackday.org is the website to check out more information. And finally, AT&T exclusive Red Galaxy S3 is available for pre-order on July 15th and will be in stores July 29th.
Let's see what's incoming.
Incoming message.
Got an email from Christian Estrate who says, hey guys, regarding the huge touch monitors, people really want to talk about this, huh? Sharp have a variety of them from 60 to 80 inches with infrared detection, no capacitive resistive touch. They sell them as interactive whiteboards, actually. On Windows 7, it's not that nice to use, but maybe on Windows 8.
Yeah, I think it'll be better on 8. And Perceptive Pixel makes really good versions of these. I know they're not the only ones who've made a large touchscreen, but they work really well. I used one in a Marriott in Salt Lake City. It wasn't a Perceptive Pixel. It was really laggy and hard to use. So I think Microsoft did a good thing in buying Perceptive Pixel for sure.
And Windows 8 is built for touch first, so maybe that'll make a big difference because Windows 7 has those tiny targets. Email from Jay in Ohio. Hey, TNT show, as a DirecTV customer, I was unaware of the recent DirecTV Viacom dispute until yesterday's show. After I listened to the show, I turned on my TV and tuned into Comedy Central. There, the CEO of DirecTV, Mike White, has a video in which he states, quote, Viacom should be willing to give your family the choice to pay for only those channels you watch. Does this mean that DirecTV is actually trying to get a la carte pricing? I love the idea of a la carte pricing. The channels that people watch will survive, the channels no one watches will go away, and customers will save money either way. If DirecTV is actually trying to go a la carte on their pricing model, I will forever sing DirecTV's praises. I work in the TV industry and believe that the only real way to save the cable/satellite industry is to offer a la carte pricing. Otherwise, internet delivery will win. I have bad news for Jay in Ohio.
Oh, no.
According to that same Bloomberg article covering the Sun Valley conference, Mike White said his company, DirecTV, isn't looking to break up Viacom's bundle of channels, even though his customers would prefer not to pay for networks that they don't watch. So even though
that. We know what our customers want, so we will continue to not offer that to our customers.
That's effective.
As CEO of DirecTV, you have my word.
Yeah, so on TV he's saying one thing, on Bloomberg is saying another.
We may want to piss off Viacom, but not quite that much. All right, well, that's it for this episode of Tech News Today. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening, and thanks to everybody for submitting stories in our subreddit, technewstoday.reddit.com. Speaking of Reddit, you can not only ask Iyaz, Akhtar anything there, you can actually let us know what stories you'd like us to cover on the show. Ewen, Rankin, a pleasure, my friend, to have you on Tech News Today. I can't wait to get the time together to come back on British Tech. Let folks know what's going on there. You got the big show coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, big show's in an hour, so 8 p.m. UK time. We've got a full panel, and we're going to shoot the breeze on what's been happening this week.
And if folks want to get your shows, where do they go?
We post them to BritishTechNetwork.com, and you can get us on iTunes as well. We've got a provider page there, and you can follow us on Twitter at British Tech News, and you can follow me at Ewen Rankin on Twitter.
That's it for this edition of Tech News Today. I will be getting on a plane shortly and flying to San Diego. So tomorrow I will be live from San Diego Comic-Con, courtesy of the Skype truck. So I'll be able to talk in my full volume then. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Before you end, bandwidth cap special.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's right. At 9 a.m. tomorrow, before Tech News Today, we'll be live streaming a bandwidth special with people in the industry. So Dane Jasper, who runs the ISP SonicNet, Reed Fischler from Hurricane Electric, a backbone provider, Benoit Felton, an analyst from France who actually has studied bandwidth congestion, and Christopher Mitchell from muninetworks.org, who works with municipalities rolling out networks, and find out what are bandwidth caps for the consumer, why are they necessary, what do they do? So you can tune in live.twit.tv at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow for that, or catch it in the TWiT specials feed later on. It's going to be a really good episode. And then right after that, Tech News Today at 10 a.m. You can find us on the web, live.twit.tv, live every day at 10 a.m. Pacific. And you can find us on demand, twit.tv/TNT, any day of the week. You can email us, tnt@twit.tv, or give us a call. Phone number is 260-TNT-SHOW. Goodbye from SFO. Darren Kitchen will be with us tomorrow. We'll see you then.